Hello! Today I will show you my process of this roller skate painting I did. I will talk about my thought process as well, so stay tuned. Everything was done in Clip Studio and it took around 4.5 hours to complete. Since I am an environment artist, I wanted to paint a game location, which was the most unforgettable for me in the game, the Underdark. It looks so completely different than the rest of the game. This is why I decided to paint the Sasa tree, with its glowing blue leaves in this dark cave. As for my process, I started with thumbnails, then decided for one and used this as a base sketch. In my mind, I already knew the value structure of the painting. The front is dark, the background is lighter, the tree is right in the middle. Here's a simple 4-value sketch of how it's supposed to look later on. You can see how the focal point, the couple, has the highest contrast and is framed by the branches. I also used the golden spiral as a composition guide. That is why the tree is angled in a curve and the couple is standing in the central point on the lower left. I established the perspective with the perspective tool in Clip Studio Paint early. I really like dramatic perspectives, hence we look at the tree from below. This way it appears even more giant than it already is. After having a rough sketch, I filled in the colors. For this painting, I wanted to have an analogous color scheme, meaning that all colors in this painting lay next to one another on the color wheel. This is why you only see blues and a little bit of turquoise in here. Another example of an analogous color scheme would be yellow, orange and red, or purple, pink and red. I tried adding some birds here, but quickly scrapped that idea since there are already so many leaves flying around. The leaves are a great tool to create contrast with their almost white glow in the dark surroundings. And they really do break up the otherwise darkish blue environment. Here I started to photobash some textures into the tree trunk. For that I used free-to-use photos from bonsai tree trunks. I adjusted the contrast of the original image, then put everything into the darken mode so only the dark parts appear in the image. Then I painted over and used the dark areas as a base to give the bark more interesting shapes. Again, I will show you the same process for some grass. First I have a photo, then I put everything into the darken mode after adjusting the contrast if necessary. Then later, I paint over it to give it a more painterly feel. The same process can also be helpful if you want to maintain light areas of the original image instead of darker ones. Then, instead of using the darken mode, just use lighten instead. Here you can see the results of using both modes and painting a little over it. If you are unsure if you should use lighten or darken, try both and see what looks better. Okay, let's get back to the painting. I just continued to render away at this part. Here you can see me painting over the texture I photobashed, but soon I added another photo to give the tree more interesting shapes in this area. I continue to just paint. Notice how I do not zoom in? I try to avoid zooming in, to not get lost in detail. Otherwise, I can easily end up spending hours on unnecessary detail, which won't be even noticed when seeing the whole painting. I also photobashed the leaves in. I tried painting them first, but that didn't look as natural and chaotic as real nature. So I roughly cut the photos to where I want the leaves to be, adjusted the colors to have a high contrast and cut out the dark areas. This way only the cutouts of the leaves stayed and I could paint on them freely. Here you can see how I did that again with a separate video. I ranked up the contrast, then selected the white colors and deleted them. This way only the leaves stayed. I adjusted the leaves, added some branches and painted over everything here. To control the placement better, I paint some leaves individually. Afterwards, I used a 3D model of a human as a reference for the people standing there. It's a feature already in Clip Studio. I put the model in perspective, then I duplicated it for the other person. Then I painted over it and adjusted some proportions. By the way, can you guess who this couple is supposed to be? One hint, one of them was my own original character in the game. I added some photos as a base for the waterfall, then painted over that and thus finished the background. I tried separating the foreground to the background with more contrast by using a fuzzy brush and adding more atmosphere. Then I gave the leaves a glow. Since everything is cut out, it was easy to add a glow to each leaf with just blurring them. Afterwards, I did my final color adjustments as usual and the painting was finished. Thanks for watching! I hope you learned a few tricks here and there. Feel free to leave a comment, like and subscribe.